Good evenings, gentlemen and ladies. I am the old school game snob, and today we are taking a look at Absorb. This is an interesting one that's maybe not the most commonly used or even understood, but is actually really powerful and really cool and has potential to entirely nullify damage and actually even cause incoming elemental damage to heal you. So for example, in this case, I've got on some Hellmouth gauntlets, which give me 15 to fire absorb. I've also got on some dwarf star rings, which give me 15% to fire absorb as well. And as you can see, I'm sitting in the middle of some hydras here, not taking any damage at all. Why is that? Let's take a closer look. So with absorbs, it's important to understand the order of operations. You have two types of absorb. You have a flat absorb, such as that given by the Hellmouth gauntlets, that plus 15 fire absorb, that is a flat 15 points of damage. You also have a percentage-based absorb, such as the dwarf star rings, that is a percentage of damage. You can stack up to 40% absorb. You cannot stack beyond 40% absorb. In this case, I've stacked a total of 30 fire absorb, 15 plus 15. But just to know that there is a cap at 40, so stacking beyond that would be redundant. So like I was saying, the order of operations is very important to understand how absorb works. Let's imagine that you took 1,000 points of fire damage. In this case, this character has a ridiculous 95% fire resistance thanks to the Guardian Angel. What would first happen is the first thing that is calculated is your fire resistance on that 1,000 damage, reducing it to a mere 50 points of damage. The next thing that is calculated is your absorb percentage. So in this case, we would take 15% plus 15% equaling 30% fire absorb. We would subtract 30% from that 50 points of remaining damage, which equals 15 points of damage, which is reduced, and it also adds 15 points of damage, which is healed. So we add up the damage that was healed and the damage that was reduced. 15 plus 15 equals 30 points of damage, which is reduced. So we have reduced 30 points of damage from that remaining 50 damage that is still coming through, for a total of 20 damage still remaining. The absorb damage reduction and the absorb heal works at the same time. You can kind of think of it like this in more simple terms. If you see 15% fire absorb, that actually reduces fire damage by 30% because you get 15% reduction and 15% heal that happens at the same time. So that's kind of an easy way to calculate that. So if we have two absorb rings at 15% each, we have 30, so basically we're getting 60% fire damage reduction from those two absorbs. And don't worry if this is getting confusing. I'm going to break it down with a visual aid in just a moment here, but to continue our equation, our calculation, we have 20 points of damage left, but we still have the last order of operations, which is our flat fire absorb from our Hellmouth gauntlets, which give us a flat 15 fire absorb. So we have 20 points of damage remaining. From that 20 points of damage remaining, we of course subtract 15 and we add 15. So we subtract 15, which gives us 5 points of damage remaining, and then we add 15 onto that, which gives us a total of 10 points of life healed. Okay, let's look at that one more time with a slightly different example. This time we will use a fire resistance of 75%. So we take 1,000 points of damage, and our fire resistance removes 75% of that. So 1,000 minus 75% equals 250 damage remaining. Now the next thing is our fire absorb percentage. So from our remaining 250 damage, we subtract 30% from our dwarf star rings. So that equals 75% damage removed. So basically 250 minus 30% equals 75. And then what happens, and this is kind of the confusing part, is that at the same time as we remove 30% damage, we also heal the amount of damage that was removed. So 75 damage was removed, 75 damage was also healed at the same time. Combining these two, we have a total of 150 damage reduction. So the total character damage would be 250 minus 150, which only leaves 100 damage remaining. Okay, and then the next order of operations is our flat damage. That comes from the Hellmouth gauntlets in this case. So from our remaining 100 damage, we also have 15 flat damage absorb as well. So 100 minus that 15 flat damage, which is reduced, and also Just like with Absorb, that 15 is also healed at the same time, so we take 15 plus 15 for a total of 30 damage removed, which leaves a total of 70 damage taken to the character. Okay, let's look at this once more with a practical example. So these little demon imps do an average of 75 to about 130 damage with their fireball. So we're going to stack up 75 resist, and we're going to put our dwarf star rings back on, and now their fireballs are going to start healing us. So on average they're healing us for somewhere around 10 to 20 points of health every shot. So this is how that equation looks. 100 fire damage, so we take 100 minus 75 resist, leaving a total of 25 damage that gets through. Then of that 25 damage, we subtract 30% of that, equaling 7.5 damage, which is reduced, and 7.5 damage, which is also healed at the same time. So 7.5.7.5 equals a total of 15 damage, which is reduced. And then of course we take our remaining damage, 25 minus 15, for a total of 10 damage that is actually getting through and doing damage. Now we calculate the flat absorb, the 15 flat absorb, which is 10 minus 15, and actually we can't go into negative, so 10 minus 15 actually ends up being 10 damage reduced and 10 damage healed, for a total of 20 life healed on that 100 points of fire damage. Clear as mud? When stacking lightning absorbs in your resistances, it becomes possible to do some pretty interesting things, such as negate and nullify even some of the most powerful damage and dangerous creatures in the game. This can be really effective for target farming certain areas with certain powerful monsters. The Black Souls I am using in this example because I love using Black Souls in my examples. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video.